That was his mistake.
He's by far the best of the big three twist villains because he's the only one that could have worked. Like, with some tweaks, he could have actually been good. I think it's a great idea to have the hero and the villain's methods of dealing with
That was
grief
his mistake.
contrast with each other. With the hero having a great support system to deal with loss and exhaustion, and thus coping with it
I'm
pretty
also
effectively, while Catwoman
back
doesn't
playing this level
gets
because
to
I
choose her fights
forgot
and
about it,
fight
and I also
her
just
own
didn't want to
way,
play it that much because I
despite
didn't
all the setbacks
want
that
to.
come with
There
this
was
game.
really a reason.
Being
I just wanted
justified,
the generation
amazing
wise,
video
like,
by
totally.
Movie so
I have to beat
dismissive
the
that
new
it
event level as
almost
well.
feels unfortunately realistic. And Callahan's anger makes complete sense. He had the potential to be one of the most sympathetic and understandable Disney villains. But
I hate that part. Not really. I kind of like it. Not actually, no, I kind of hate it.
That was his mistake.
That was his mistake.
Ah, shit.
That was his mistake.
I don't know what possessed them to not see this guy as a real person. One who feels remorse for the needless death of humanity, because he's not an evil guy at heart. Just a misguided man consumed by a desire for revenge because of the loss of his daughter. But instead, it just feels like he is fucking evil. Who cares about my dead protege? It was his fault for going into a burning building to save people. Dumbass. It just drives me insane. He could have been good. Could have been great even. But instead, he's just an embarrassment. There are other things too. Like his plan to upgrade entire business up in the portal is kind of stupid. And the twist with him
How
is so
to-
blatantly obvious that he's stupidly insisting that it isn't. Could have dealt with all of that. It just felt real. A real person struggling with grief. The pieces were all right there in Disney blue. What can I say? That was the mistake.
What? Huh?
No. Man is not a Disney villain. I am so sick of all these people that think he's a villain. No, he's not. He is an antagonistic force who is not even close to being a villain. I see these people saying, man represents the cruelty and uncaring nature of humanity through his indifference to the natural world. That's nothing! Other Disney villains will wipe out entire civilizations in the pursuit of capitalistic endeavors while also being an actual fucking character in the narrative. I'm not gonna give brownie points to a fucking non-entity within the story just because they committed such a heinous action from Bambi's perspective. That's great and all, but we don't know him. I guess in my Pixar villain ranking, I should have included the Barracuda that killed Marlin's wife and children in Finding Nemo. Oh man, what an evil and nefarious great villain. Hell, he accomplishes more than most of the other Pixar villains. I don't see Lotso, Randall, or Stinky Pete killing anyone and eating their babies. I guess the Barracuda is one of the best Pixar villains of all time. That's what you people fucking sound like. Are you out of your goddamn minds? Man is a suitable, unseen antagonistic force for the purposes of creating drama within the narrative. He functions exactly how he should within the movie, and I didn't need or want him to be an actual character. I just cannot stand the people who say he's one of the greatest Disney villains because, quite frankly, he shouldn't even count for this list. I think at the very least, a Disney villain should have a name and a face. That should be the qualifications. I'll put him this high up as a gesture of goodwill to the fact that he serves his antagonistic purpose perfectly, and thus deserves to rank among the characters and two most significant problems with him as villains. But he's not getting any higher. He's not talking about the real characters now. And he genuinely does not belong in the same category as the rest of them. If you call him one of the greatest villains in cinema one more time, I will lose my freaking marbles. Oh my god.
Oh, come on.
Is one of the best Disney movies of all time for so many reasons. Gone 2 is not one of them. Yeah, he's definitely the weakest part of the movie. I mean, the focus isn't really on the whole Galactic Federation trying to capture Stitch stuff, so he serves his purpose of just being an obstacle in the climax, and it doesn't really matter too much if he doesn't show up before then. But like, I don't know, I just wish he was either more menacing or more funny. If I remember correctly, they went more into the funny with the sequels, and kind of played up his general incompetence. But here, it's not to the point of hilarity, it's more to the point of asking, why is his cage for Stitch on the outside of the ship, and how did he not have any sensors indicating that Stitch escaped immediately? I don't know, he serves his purpose and he has a cool
Okay.
to this original film. He's really not that special. Like, he's in my Disney movie ranking that Madam Medusa is just kind of the Walmart-ass version of Cruella de Vil or Madam Mim. And yeah, I literally have nothing else to say about this episode. I guess her design is pretty good, and sometimes she talks like a Zelda CDI character, which is funny. But oh my god, I was so bored watching the scenes. It just feels like they were going through the villainous motions when writing her. Her plan isn't particularly nefarious. Like, oh, she wants a diamond. Wow, that's crazy. And I guess she's gonna use this little girl to retrieve it inside of this small blowhole that leads into a blocked-off pirate's cave where the devil's eye is located. I just read that all the kids that would be bothered to keep watching her scenes in this movie. If anything, I like her crocodiles better than her. It's funny that their names are Nero and Brutus, and they have some pretty decent scenes. And to give her some credit, sometimes it's funny how she always just has a big gun. There are good comedic ones where she accidentally shoots stuff.
I'm a poser.
I guess Rescuers villain number 2 was a little bit better than Rescuers villain number 1. What was his name again? Percival C. McLeach. Yeah, I don't know. He's just kind of an evil poacher, and that's about it. He's okay. He serves his purpose as a threat decently well. I think he had one funny line.
Make it all the way through third grade for nothing.
Dude, I don't know.
Ow!
I got nothing else. He's not bad. He's about as standard as you can possibly get as a Disney. Pretty whatever. Let's move on to the ones I stuff to actually say about.
You received the manhood of the tiger.
Anyone else really wish King Louis was the main villain of the Jungle Book? Like, not only does he have the best song in the movie, but he's just so fun and would make for a great intimidating antagonist with his massive army of monkeys and desire. But, you know, I guess Beta Star works too. Shere Khan is fine enough. They build him up pretty well, and then when you finally meet him, it's surprising how dignified and refined he acts. It's a nice contrast to the whole murderous tiger who wants to eat this child thing. But yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really accomplish that much. Baloo hinders his mobility pretty easily by just grabbing his tail, and then when he actually does have a chance to maul Baloo to death, he can't even do that. Then they tie a flaming branch to his tail, and he gets scared and runs away. What a pussy. Cat. Yeah, if you're only gonna be in 10 minutes of a movie, you really gotta leave an impression. And as good as this guy's design and voice are, he's a little bit pathetic. I forget if he was better in the sequel or not, but that doesn't matter. I'm on Team King Louis in terms of the best Jungle Book villain. Hell, even Kaa would have made for a better villain on his own. Society has moved past the need for Shere Khan. Oh, right, Moana. I've been born for this moment. It's time to talk about...
I wondered if I could hold it and fall in love with it too.
But the villain song, it went to...
You told me to buy a pony, but all I wanted was
No! Okay. I will take it though. 20 to, I think it was 56? Nice. I do like that.
Tamatoa! My beautiful Tamatoa! No! Okay, fine. What's the lava monster's deal? I mean, it's a little hard to compare her to the others since she mainly is a force of nature. After all, she's just a corrupted version of Tafiti who doesn't even talk. She serves her purpose in the narrative perfectly, and the twist with her is pretty neat. Plus, her design is rad, and so is the final battle against her. I don't know if there's anything else to say. She's the lava monster. Not even evil, just heartless. Wait a minute. Heartless? I swear to God, if they don't include a Moana world in Kingdom Hearts 4, that might be the biggest fumble of all time. It's all right there. Plus, that way we can have a Tamatoa boss fight. I really want to talk about Tamatoa in this video. I mean, for God's sakes, it's not like I have an hour-and-a-half long video talking about him or anything. I don't know. I'll let you guys know where Tamatoa ranks. When we get to the spot I would actually put him at, just for funsies. Alright, I think it's now time we hear from our sponsor. And by hear from
Oh
our
my
sponsor,
god, dog.
obviously means time for the next installment in the Shaperless Sandwich 6, baby! The ongoing New York Times best-selling, Pulitzer Prize-winning story arc about me getting ingredients to make a sandwich. Last time I acquired ketchup as it poured out of Shinjiro Persona 3's coat after he laid down from getting shot. Next, I don't know. I think the sandwich could use some pizzazz. Just some sort of ultra cool, secret, special ingredient of some kind. Oh, did you say ultra cool, secret, special ingredients? Why, hello, random old lady. Why, yes, I did say ultra cool, secret special ingredient. Do you have one? Oh, of course, dearie. How about
When
this
you add
sick
to
ass
bit a
It's
two,
got a real kick to it. It's to die for. It'll kill you if you eat it. Huh? Sorry,
We were
lady.
playing
Say
in the
something or
sand.
listen. I was helping this lovely gentleman
were
make a website so he can spread his turbotastic joy to every
we
corner
were
of the
playing in
His
the
words, not
sand.
mine. What?
And
Don't
you
wanna
found a
ask
little
me
band.
how you can build an amazing website?
Oh my,
What's a website? With
dude.
Squarespace.
Oh my God, Squarespace.
Canada, secret video that I'm keeping the subject of under wraps.
Now there's someone who could have used a good mother.
Pickle?
Okay, so like, I know I'm only supposed to talk about the villains here and not the movies they came from as much, but oh my god, I forgot how awful Cinderella's pacing is. We waste so much time dicking around with the mice that outside of her silent appearance in the prologue, Lady Tremaine doesn't properly show up in the film until the 22-minute mark. Ridiculous movie. Ah yeah, she's fine by the way. Much like the movie itself, I'm not a huge fan of her, but she definitely does what she's supposed to. You hate her for making Cinderella's life miserable for no real reason, and that dress scene is obviously really cruel. But aside from that, she's just not all that interesting an antagonist. Functional but forgettable is how I describe her. Oh, and to be fully transparent, yeah, she would have ranked a lot higher if you consider the events of the direct-to-DVD sequels, because she's way more sinister and cool in Cinderella 3 when she gets the fairy godmother's wand. I know, I should just accept that the relatively grounded Cinderella 1 has a relatively grounded villain. But there are plenty of other villains who don't have any magic powers or abilities who manage to be way more memorable and delightfully evil. I just don't think Lady Tremaine does it for me, unfortunately. Not bad, fine for what she is, but she's not ranking any higher. Are you kidding?
We were playing in the sand.
Clayton is kinda like if Man
And
from
you
Bambi
found a-
was an actual character.
We were playing in the
I don't really think he's anyone's favorite part of Tarzan.
We were playing in the sand.
Well enough, but nothing about him
And
really
you found
sticks
a
out or
little
leaves that
band.
much of an impression. It's like the only thing that
You
really
told
makes
me
him
you
intimidating is
fell
that he
in
feels
love
dumb.
with it.
Take away that
Hadn't
neutral special
gone
and
as
he's
I
not
planned.
interested. He wants to catch gorillas to get money.
When you
He's
had
not
to bid a
particularly
two.
menacing until the final
The
act.
Sigma.
He doesn't make
Playing
good
in the
decisions
sand.
when he's there, even managing to kill Persia,
And you
which
found
is
a
good
little
because it
band.
establishes him as a legitimate threat, and also because
You told me you fell in love with it.
Tarzan has him at
We were
gunpoint,
playing
he
in
just
the
says, go ahead.
We were playing.
Even in a life
We
or death
were
scenario,
playing in
he
the
acts
sand.
cocky and tries to gain the mental upper hand.
And you
Tarzan.
found a
But
little
I saw him
band.
flinch when Tarzan pretended to fire the
We
gun.
were playing in
He
the
was caught
sand.
in 4K, acting like a little bitch.
And
Like
you
he's
found a
honest
little
about that
band.
either. But mainly, he gets a ton of points
You
for having
told
one of the
me you-
sickest death scenes out of any Disney film. Like, can you imagine them getting away with this today? I genuinely can't. That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those villains who works well enough for his movie. I just don't think anyone is gonna let him pop up on their all-time greatest Disney villains list. Sorry, buddy, you're not ranking any higher, but if you want, you can still hang around. Ooh, too soon.
Carrying a big old envelope full of money? Give it to Mr. Sykes.
Sykes is pretty boring from a motivation and relation to the protagonist standpoint. He doesn't really show up in Oliver and Company enough to make a huge impression, but at least when he is around, he's pretty cool. The way he's animated is sick as hell. Very slow, very deliberate. I love the way he gets cigar smoke in people's faces. It's just undoubtedly rad to have a
We
mafia
were
boss
playing
as the
in
main
the
villain of
sand.
Disney. He's pretty decent at being intimidating, and I love what a
were
lunatic he
pla-
becomes in the climax.
We
Or with
were
him
playing
driving his
in the
car down a
sand.
subway system. That's probably a bad idea.
And you
because
found a
if
little
found there,
band.
he might be, yeah, that's exactly what I expected.
You told me you
Undoubtedly more
fell.
of a vibes villain than
We
an
were
actual
playing in the
villain
sand.
story-wise, but the vibes are solid enough to make him,
And you found a little
ever
band.
so slightly above average.
You
I mean,
told
hey,
me
for a
you-
character in fucking Oliver and Company,
We
that's
were
pretty
playing
impressive.
in the sand. We were playing in the sand.
Madam Mim's the closest thing to Sword
We
in the
were
Stone
playing
has to a
in the-
villain, even though she only
We
shows up
were
for 10
playing
minutes
in
at
the
the very end.
sand.
It's kind of like if Tamatoa had to carry the
And you
entirety
found a
of
little
Moana on
band.
his back, villain-wise. Except she's not quite
You
as big
told
as
me you
Tamatoa, so she
fell-
doesn't rank very high.
We
I mean,
were
she's really
playing
fun
in
when
the
she's with
sand.
dating sunshine and everything positive.
And you
that.
found a-
Engaging in this really cool
We
music
were
package
playing
is
in-
pretty much the only scene in the movie worth a damn. I don't like the Sword in the
We
Stone.
were playing
Madam
in
Mim is
the-
definitely an enjoyable presence when she's around, and I could certainly see her
We
serving
were
as a great
playing
main
in-
villain to a story that
We
actually
were
focused
playing
on
in
her.
the
It's a
sand.
little hard to rank her any higher than this, since she
And
isn't
you
really
found
that
a little
antagonistic.
band.
Fun character, sequence to themselves. Yeah, the coachman is probably more evil since he runs a sick, disturbing, turning little boys into donkeys island. But I still think Honest John is the one I gotta rank for this list. Yeah, he's pretty good. Just a funny sly fox who has great rapport and slapstick with his silent sidekick Gideon. I like the part where he pretends to be a doctor and just spouts random gibberish to convince Pinocchio to go to Pleasure Island. I like the part when he says an actor's life is gay. Overall, he's a pretty good and enjoyable villain. Not in the movie too much, but neither is any other villain in this movie.
Because you're gonna yodel, 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 obey me.
You know, maybe if Home on the Range was about the epic yodeling villain and not the Roseanne cow, it would have been good. I actually can't believe how much I genuinely enjoy Alameda Slim. Like, it's always nice when a pretty solid villain comes out of a bad movie. His evil plan is so bonkers, but so deliciously effective. He uses his magical yodeling abilities to hypnotize cows and steal them away from farms, which then go out of business. So he dons his Baron disguise and buys them up with the money he got from selling their stolen cows. And his motivation to do all this is because he kept getting fired from a ton of farms because they didn't like his
And you
yodeling.
found a little.
That's so
We
funny.
were playing
I
in
like
the
that
sand.
song. His design is good. He has some
And
funny
you found
lines.
a-
His villain song is so
We were
weird
playing
and
in the
catchy and
sand.
memorable. Like, you really gotta understand, this movie is complete dog shit, but he is just, I don't
We
know,
were
man, I like
playing
it.
in the
Even though
sand.
taking him down is the main goal of the cow
And
trio
you
the
found a
movie is
little
unfortunately
bad.
centered on, he doesn't appear in it nearly as
You
much as I
told
would've
me
liked.
you
But for the parts
fell
that
in-
he is in the movie, I
We
had a
were
ton of
playing
fun
in
with
the
it.
sand.
Also, according to the Disney
And you
Wiki
found a-
and this one deleted
We
scene,
were playing in
apparently
the-
his original scheme
We
was
were
to storm
playing in the
Washington,
sand.
D.C. with an army of hypnotized
And
cows
you found
in
a
an
little
attempt to
bad.
become president. This man was going to
You
commit
told me
January
you
6th with a bunch
fell
of
in
cows.
love with it.
Are
Had-
you kidding me? Apparently this plotline was cut
We
for
were
being
playing
too
in the
ridiculous.
sand.
Like, oh, this guy yodeling in
And
order to
you found a
hypnotize
little
cows
bad.
is totally fine. But using
We were
said
playing
hypnotized
in the
cows to
sand.
storm the Capitol and forcibly make
And
him
you found a
president?
little
No,
bad.
that's where we draw the line. Really,
You
it's a shame
told
because
me
this plot
you
development
fell
would've
in
made Home
love.
on the Range a lot more interesting and memorable. Like, it's almost going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu level of insane. Not quite, but it's in the same ballpark.
Now all of
Twitter?
knows your
You know, it's weird that Shan Yu was more progressive than the heroes when it came to women in the military. When Mulan reveals herself to him, he recognizes her as the soldier from the mountains and doesn't even bring up or show any surprise at the fact that she's a woman. We love a progressive, ruthless, evil warlord in this house. I was ready to rank him a little lower overall, but honestly, he's a great example of doing a lot with a little. He barely shows up in the movie, but every scene with him wastes no time in terms of demonstrating how pure evil he is through some clever and sinister lines.
How many men does it take to deliver a message?
One.
The little girl will be missing her doll. We should return it to her.
Oh, well that's nice. Oh, never mind. Honestly, the scene where they find the destroyed village is probably his best and most terrifying moment as a villain. And he's not even present for it. This is just the aftermath, but it's so damn dark and intense. You always take him seriously as a threat, even in his honestly pretty fitting, dry comedic moments.
Boo.
I don't know why that works, but it just does. I don't think I'm gonna rank him higher, because I generally do like when villains have relationships with the heroes, and this guy doesn't even formally meet Mulan until the very end. But to be fair, he's a different kind of villain. Less of a character to an extent, and more of a force of nature the heroes have to prevent from taking over China. But nonetheless still with a lot of memorable lines, a great design, and a consistently intimidating presence
We were
that
playing-
encompasses exactly what the film needs.
We were playing in the sand. And you found a little
Parts
bad.
doesn't appear that much. Alice in
We
Wonderland
were
is one of
playing
those
in the
rotating
sand.
cast of movies after all. But once she does come in the final act,
We
she's
were
an
playing
absolute
in the
blast.
sand.
I love seeing all of her
We
subjects
were
bend
play-
over backwards to appease her,
We were
which
playing
includes
in
the
the
most
sand.
absurdly rigged game of croquet I've
We
ever
were
seen in my
playing
life.
in the
And the kangaroo
sand.
court she puts on in order to
We
sentence
were
Alice to
playing
death
in
is
the
ridiculously
sand.
fun too. Man,
We
it's
were
just nice to
playing
get a
in
villain
the
in a Disney
sand.
movie whose main characteristic is
And you
she
found
loves
a
chopping
little
off
bad.
people's an asshole hunter who constantly wants to kill poor Todd the fox, and who ends up breaking an unlikely friendship between Todd and Copper by training Copper to be a hunting dog. Yeah, he had no way of knowing these two were forming an interspecies friendship, but it's still heartbreaking to see his ruthless hunting characteristics manifest in Copper, thus forming a rift between the fox and the hound, parentheses 1981. It's also frankly insane just how intent he is on killing this one fox, instead of just letting it go and moving on. Seriously, why can't he just grow up and get over it? Oh, that's what he does at the end when Copper stands between the barrel of his gun and Todd. You know what? I gotta give him credit. This one display of basic humanity has really stuck out in my mind for years since I first watched this movie. It's a believable conclusion for him to come to. The idea that there's no need for further bloodshed, and that he was just being obsessive and ridiculous. I think the ending, where Big Mama's patching up his leg, is genuinely sweet, showing that they've put aside their differences after all this conflict. I don't know, man. I know it seems a little hard to justify a villain ceasing to be evil as a reason why I like him so much, but this just felt like a story where a redemption arc was appropriate and believably executed. He's just a really good character from a pretty good film in general. And speaking of redeemed villains,
If you had to choose between Jim and all the money I have in my pocket,
I wasn't really sure whether to include John Silver at first, because he's a very different type of villain. The redeemable one. And not just at the very end either, like Amos Slade. The whole movie is about him displaying his surprising humanity, and showing how his love for Jim is what's causing him to stray away from his nefarious, single-minded goal of getting the treasure. It's an amazing arc, and he's an amazing character. But I didn't want that to sway where he ended up on the list too much. I figured it would be better to mainly judge how he functions as a villain. And he's a pretty damn good one. His voice is great, his design is incredible with all these little cyborg bits and bops. He can be pretty damn menacing in a ton of scenes, yet he never loses that undeniable charisma. Of course, the best aspects of his character are his arc where he grows a softer side and ultimately sacrifices the treasure in order to save Jim. There's a lot of great little moments where the two sides of him intersect. Like I love when Jim forces him to take him to the treasure or else he'll withhold the map. And you can see in his face just how proud he is of Jim for thinking so cleverly, before he turns it off and goes back into villain mode. There's such a great balance to his character, which is precisely what makes the moment where he saves Jim so unbelievably satisfying. Definitely a much better character in general than he is a villain, but he is a great villain too, so, you know.
Welcome to hell!
I love Dr. Facilier. We all do. But it's okay to admit that he's a style over substance villain, right? I mean, the guy doesn't really do anything after turning Naveed into a frog. Like, he didn't even turn Tiana into a frog. That was just an accident. He's kind of absent throughout the entire middle chunk of the story, only appearing in one or two scenes that don't even connect to the protagonists and what they're doing. He just sends his shadow henchmen out and sits at home dicking around with Lawrence while they do his bidding so he can make his needlessly complicated plan work. I don't know, when your most evil action is stepping on a bug, maybe that's a sign you're not exactly a top tier villain. But with that said, oh my god, he's so cool anyway, it doesn't even really matter. He just feels like a top tier villain when you're watching him actually in action. From his killer iconic villain song, Friends on the Other Side, to the sick as hell way he's animated, to the impeccably sinister and suave vocal delivery of Keith David. Dude, Keith David's voice makes me perk up anytime I hear it. He's one of those actors that makes me say, holy shit, you're in this? Alright, I'm sold. Facilier brings us so many vibrant voodoo visuals, and he looks and sounds damn cool while doing it. I wish he had a more active role in the story, though to be fair, I kind of wish the story of this movie in general was completely different, because I think it takes a bit of a nosedive after Tiana becomes a frog. But regardless, there are still plenty of flashes of brilliance exhibited by Facilier, even after Friends on the Other Side is over. I think you can best see that in his scene with Tiana towards the end, tempting her with the dream of her restaurant fulfilled, even going so far as to say, she's almost there. That is so sick. Using the I Want song to manipulate her. Oh my god, it's even cooler than when Slade did it in Teen Titans Go to the Movies. You know, in the final battle when he says to Robin, it would be so awesome. It would be so cool. Okay, actually, never mind. That's cooler than Facilier doing it. Sorry, I don't make the rules. This scene really makes me long for more interactions between Facilier and Tiana throughout the rest of the movie. Like, they literally meet for the first time here, and it deflates a little bit of the weight of this interaction as a result. Like, how does he know all this information about her and her desires? I guess the spooky friends on the other side told him or whatever. Oh well, it's a fantastic scene. One where you almost buy into the snake oil he's selling because of how damn charismatic he is. He's so good. His death scene is really sick as well. Just overall a fantastic character who I really wish served as a better villain in his movie. I think he's one of the most fumbled and underused Disney villains, without a doubt. I can't feasibly rank him higher, but also if you said he was your favorite Disney villain, I couldn't even argue with you, honestly.
She's not even that hot.
And she's fine. She's prettier than you.
The Evil Queen is a great example of how you can do a lot with a little. Her motivation is so simple, almost comically so. She just wants to be fairest in the land. But the idea that there's one girl prettier than her makes her go completely batshit crazy. It's a basic motivation for a simplistic character. But by God, that's all you need. She's the perfect mixture of extremely petty and genuinely sinister. I love how right at the start, the magic mirror says, "Alas, she is more fair than thee." And the queen's response is, "Alas for her." Honestly, slay. Did I use that right? I don't know. Her movements and facial expressions are so delightfully extra. As is her sick as hell. The main appeal of this villain is so elaborate and whimsical to solve a complete non-issue.
And you found a
This is
little
vanity
band.
and self-absorption at its most absolutely
You told me
common.
you
Like, she
fell
can't
in
be the
love
second
with
prettiest
it.
girl in the land. So she'll
We
make a
were
potion
playing
to
in
turn
the
herself
sand.
super ugly as a disguise in
And
order to
you
visit
found a
Snow
little
White
band.
and kill her with a poison apple. I said this before,
You
but
told
like,
me
if
you
have just
fell
Snow
in
White
love
taking
with
a
it.
potion and being ugly herself, I don't know, maybe there was some
We
more
were
emphasis
playing
on
in
that.
the sand.
But to me, it's a great expression of how
And you
narrow-minded
found a
her
little
focus
band.
is. For some villains, that could be seen as a negative, but for her, it's a boom. Snow
We
White
were
is a
playing
simple
in the
boom,
sand.
and the titular character is basically
Whoa.
a manifestation of all the goodness and purity there is in the world. So likewise, the villain should be made to represent absolute, irredeemable, pure evil and vanity, which is what the Evil Queen does in spades. She just revels in her evilness, especially post-disguise. When she encounters a skeleton in her torture dungeon, reaching for a pitcher of water, this is her response. Like, I hate to say it, but they just don't make them like that anymore. Evil for the love of the game, just an absolute delight and easily the highlight of this movie.
You sucked your thumb?
Oh man, I forgot how good Robin Hood is. And one of its best attributes is its villain, the rascally, phony king of England, Prince John. Why did he have to be named John when we already have Little John? Are there any other fucking names in medieval times? Prince John is undoubtedly one of the funniest Disney villains. So many of the exchanges between him and his little gay snake partner crack me up. I also just love the face he makes when he starts crying about his mommy and sucking his thumb. I don't know, man, that just kills me every time. And not only does he steal every scene he's in with his hilariously petty and childish antics, but he manages to be a grave
We
and
were
imposing
playing
threat
in-
on the citizens, despite not being threatening
We
himself.
were playing in the
That's what
sand.
happens when you give a complete fucking moron
And you
power.
found a
So
little
even though he's stupid, he's
We
the
were
king.
playing
He
in
just
the
taps the hell
sand.
out of everyone, sending whoever doesn't comply
And
to
you
jail,
found a
even
little
threatening to have
band.
characters killed on multiple occasions.
You
He's
told
rotten
me
to the
you
core,
fell
and
in love with it. Hadn't
and
got
yet,
it.
he's also a
We
hilarious,
were playing
pathetic
in the
drama
sand.
queen. You just never get tired of seeing. He's
And you
great.
found a
One of the
little
most
band.
underrated Disney villains for sure. We
You
usually
told me
talk about the
you
ones with
fell
these
in love.
In a tower.
Mother
Wait.
Gothel is just a grade A manipulative
Whoa.
bitch. Constantly
We were
gaslighting
playing
Rapunzel
in the
about
sand.
everything, insulting her to her face,
And
then
you
immediately
found a
saying,
little
"Oh,
band."
it's just a joke. Don't take it too serious."
You
Ooh,
told me you
she
fell
knows
in
exactly
love with it.
And she knows exactly
That was hard to
how
do,
get
honestly.
Rapunzel
What
to
the?
do it.
We
She
were
could have had
playing
the
in the
brothers
sand.
just kill Eugene while they're sleeping, then knock them
And
out
you
and
found
convince
a-
Rapunzel to come home, exactly how she does later
We
on.
were
But
playing
no,
in the
the puppeteer has
We
a
were
way
playing
bigger
in the
plan.
sand.
She makes sure the stage is set so it looks
And
like
you found
Eugene
a-
ran off with the crown and betrayed Rapunzel. Then she disposes of the brothers she manipulated and continues her mental hold on her. Really damn evil. I do have to kind of question what the long-term plan was, though. What was she gonna do when Rapunzel became an adult? What happens if Rapunzel gets older than her? What is she even doing with all this eternal youth? I don't know, man. I guess that's not really important. She also could have just lied about Rapunzel's birthday, and then she wouldn't think the lights were meant for her. But oh well, that's not important either. A few other things to hold her back is, yeah, I've never been a big fan of the villain song. It might be the lamest Disney villain song. Well, no, never mind. I know the first version is supposed to sound cheerful and pleasant, despite despite the twisted lyrics, but the reprise that's meant to sound super evil still isn't catchy or memorable to me. It's just not a favorite, and in general, she does kind of overlap with a certain other Disney villain who gaslights the protagonist into staying locked away. And if you know which villain I'm talking about, then you probably know it's not a favorable comparison between the two. But I don't want to be too dismissive. Gothel is great. I wouldn't personally put her up there as my all-time favorites, but she still serves her story in
And you
incredible
found a little bag.
To have a coat made out of pumpkin.
We were playing in the sand.
You know you're a great villain when
We
someone
were
writes
playing
an
in the
entire
sand.
diss track about you just based on
And
your
you
bad
found a
thoughts.
little
Like,
bag.
Roger didn't even know she wanted to murder the
You
Dalmatians
told
and make
me
them
you
into a fur
felt-
coat when he wrote the song.
We were
He
playing
did,
in the
because she's
sand.
generally a bitch.
We were
Which,
playing
yeah,
in the
I love her
sand.
attitude and how much better than
We
everyone
were
else she
playing
presents
in the
herself as.
sand.
She's super funny and she has one of the most iconic
And you found a
designs
little
out of any
bag.
Disney villain. I mean, she is one of the most iconic
You
Disney
told
villains,
me
too.
you
Like,
fell
every
in
single one of them
love
has
with
two
it.
live-action
Hadn't gone as I
adaptations
planned.
and it's easy to see
We
why.
were playing in the
How
sand.
deranged do you have to be to casually talk about all the
And you
potential
found a
ways
little
to murder
bag.
puppies, just for the sake of
We
getting
were
a
playing
fur
in the
coat out of
sand.
them. They're puppies! Like,
And you
hello?
found a-
Really, that's pretty much
We
all
were
Flora
playing
boils
in the
down to.
sand.
Her goal is killing puppies,
And you
her
found a little
motivation
bag.
is oats. That's really all you need
We
to
were
be one of the most
playing in the
despicable
sand.
and yet one of the most entertaining
And
Disney
you
villains
found a
of
little
all
bag.
time. I probably have her ranked a little lower
You
than some
told me
might
you
expect,
fell
but this
in
is
love.
rather appropriate.
We
She
were
might be
playing
the most
in the
insane
sand.
Disney villain, but others are funnier
And
others
you
are
found
more
a little-
evil, if you can believe that.
We
She
were
also
playing
takes
in
Jasper
the
and Laura's
sand.
out to do a lot of her dirty work, which is great and all, 'cause
And
I
you
love the
found a
banter she
little
has with them.
bag.
But maybe if she did some more things herself, she
You
would be
told
an
me
even
you
stronger
fell
villain.
in
Not to
love.
say she doesn't though, because
We
come
were
on,
playing in-
everyone knows and loves
We
the
were
Disguise.
playing in the sand. And you found a little bag.
Yzma is just an undeniable
You
blast.
told me you
A lot of
fell.
her appeal does come from her amazing chemistry with Kronk, who I'm obviously not going to be ranking here because he's not a bad guy. He just wanted to talk to squirrels and eat spinach puffs. Yzma is pure evil though. Cutthroat and maniacal through and through. We get a great sense of that even before she develops a gleeful murder plot to kill Kuzco and take over the Empire. Just that opening scene with the peasants says it all.
Just don't starve the idiots.
I also really like the exchange she has with Kronk about how Kuzco didn't turn out better considering she practically raised him. That really says a lot about her with just one joke. She's one of those evil and she loves it villains, with way too many darkly comedic moments and line deliveries to count. The animators really do some stellar work on her as well. I love the scene where she and Kronk are locked in the closet and you get such vivid expressions from just her eyes. Yeah man, she is excellent. Definitely very well liked, but not necessarily talked about as
We
one of
were
the
playing-
great Disney villains.
We
Rather,
were
maybe
playing
that's
in
because
the
she does have
sand.
to share the spotlight with Kronk, a somewhat
And
more
you
popular
found a
character.
little
It
bag.
also might be because Emperor's New Groove is more
You
comedic
told
in
me
general,
you
and some
fell
take her
in love.
seriously as a threat when the movie
We
is
were
just
playing in
entirely
the-
a screwball comedy.
We
I'll
were
admit, it
playing
does play
in
a
the
bit of a part
sand.
in keeping her from ranking higher, but I don't think that should devalue just how incredible of a job the team did bringing this villain to life.
Oh, there's a new
The writing,
daily.
animation, and Eartha Kitt's stellar vocal
Fuck everything else. Right now!
spookily sinister villain or the
Right now!
It's so damn good. Yeah, there's absolutely no place in the finish
This
line.
level sucks.
Oh! Actually gets the genie's power.
Whoa! I did not know where I was going. Holy! How did I do that? I was grooving though. Ah! What the hell? That's leopard. Okay. Lucky for me, there's 3-star pauses. Alright, I'm gonna 3-star pause in here. This is where that was. This is sick as hell. Oh my god, this is sick as hell. Alright, wait. This right here? Yeah, okay. Bam, 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 bam. Alright. Let's go to the beginning. Wait, let's read this. Oh yeah. That part, that's stupid. You're stupid. I hate you!
This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. Stay alert to emergency alert
Oh, come on! Yeah!
broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not. This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. Stay alert to emergency alert notifications.
What?
For the purposes of this list, I wasn't sure if I should count Bowler Hat Guy, the main villain of Meet the Robinsons,
I love Meet the
as the main
Robinsons.
villain of Meet the Robinsons. Because he's kind of being manipulated the whole time by the nefarious Doris, who is revealed to be the true mastermind of the final act. The Twitter poll, but a lot of people think the two of them are kind of a package deal. It's like Oily TC said. Look, just because Ganon shows up at the end of Twilight Princess and reveals he was the true secret evil baddie, doesn't mean Zant isn't the primary villain of that game. Yeah, it's only fair to count the duo for the purposes of this list. They're both working towards the same nefarious goal for the majority of the movie, regardless of Doris's aims being a little bigger. Unsurprisingly, they're an amazing duo. Bowler Hat Guy is easily one of the funniest villains, with a genuinely sad motivation about how he refuses to move on from the past. An incident he blamed Lewis for that he thought ruined his entire life, even though everyone had long forgotten about it. That "they all hated me" scene is so funny, but so sad, man. Seeing him encourage his past self to not let it go and move on is so funny, but so sad. It's upsetting to see him consumed by the pettiest of grudges, only for him to become a legitimate threat thanks to Doris's clever time-traveling ploy. And I especially love the contrast between Doris's ultra-competence and Bowler Hat Guy's impressive capability to even the simplest of tasks up. Honestly, even though Meet the Robinsons is far from a perfect movie, the more I think about it, the more I realize I kinda don't have any problems with Bowler Hat Guy as a villain. Like, I'm sorry if he's ranked too high for your liking, but really now, try and tell me that he isn't peak. The scene where he explains his backstory to Lewis is incredibly captivating. He serves as one of the best foils to a protagonist in any Disney movie, and I still can't get that scene where Lewis finds his notebook with nothing but a question mark in it out of my head. It's rare for a Disney movie to treat its villain this sympathetically without outright redeeming them. But I'm sure Lewis, righting the wrong of keeping Goop up at night, will lead the boy to have a much better future. And I don't want to neglect Doris either. That bad future that she takes over freaked the hell out of me as a kid. It's clever, underhanded, and really strengthens the duo as a threat in general. I really didn't expect them to rank so high going into this, but I'm sorry. I just adore them. The standout characters of their movie by a long shot.
The Candyman.
Ever wonder what it would be like if the Mad Hatter was a fascist? Well, here you go. King Candy is often regarded as the last good.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat,
It's cool.
this is not a test.
It's a test school.
Citizens are advised to take the following steps. The alert may be
I feel like we all generally underestimate how good he is when stacked up against the other Disney villains. I mean, he's diabolical. Taking over an entire game, ripping away Vanellope's entire life and everyone else's memories, and setting up this candy-coated cast system where you can only join the game's playable roster for a day if you have a coin to enter the race with, thus disenfranchising the people who don't have coins, and thus can't join the race. It's an insane system that everyone just goes along with because, you know, the king said so. The king who stole all of our memories and overthrew the natural order of this game. Well, his own game is gone. His petty jealousy and attempts to take over a different game that stole people's attention away saw to that. Yeah, the twist that he's the infamous Turbo is well done. And like a lot of other people have said, the reason this works so well as a twist is because this isn't where we first get to see him being evil. He was already incredibly villainous as King Candy the whole time, with the Turbo reveal just being the
Chromacopia. Chromacopia.
Manipulation tactics. Honestly, he's one of the best manipulators out of any of the Disney villains. And you can clearly see that when he convinces Ralph that Vanellope shouldn't race. This scene is so good because, damn it, you actually believe him. It sounds like a reasonable explanation, and you don't blame Ralph for falling for it. It's great too from an audience perspective if you genuinely start to wonder if maybe you judge this guy too harshly. Until you remember that one odd shot of the code room where Vanellope's bit of code lies ripped away. And it all starts to make sense. Ooh, what a grade A, pure evil fiend. And he just gets more intimidating when the mask is finally ripped away in both the final race and the Cybug boss level. Hearing a guy who acted so gleeful and bubbly the whole movie say in that same intonation, "Let's watch her die together," just really works. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for being an absolute top-tier Disney villain. Funny, slimy, and shockingly nefarious. I think he's more than earned a spot this high on the list. The fact that we live in a society where Ratigan is not constantly hyped up as one of the greatest Disney villains of all time deeply upsets me. Holy shit, I love everything about this guy. From the amazing animation we witness as his face contorts into increasingly insane expressions, to Vincent Price's deliciously devious delivery. The way this guy talks is just so good. Every single line of
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. Stay alert to make immediate advance forward for emergency alert notifications.
Yeah! Yeah! What a great level. I love this. I think we're playing the probably Drax or what's her name again? Drax. Alright. Thank you. Is it Drax? Here's the Drax.
what other villain would create an elaborate Rube Goldberg machine in order to kill his arch rival that sets
Alright, what do we get from this anyways? A gold key? Yeah! Alright, let's see what's pretty sure it's the like a new ship. Not that one. Alright, come on. Yeah! 1,000 orbs, let's go. Sigma on the wall.
every possible villainous beat you could ever ask for. Murderous lunatic, Eddie Gay asshole. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but that's all I ever wanted. I really only wish he had more screen time. And that in general, this movie is good.
Wait.
Ah, shit disturbed me to see you, Gaston. That's the end of that sentence. Gaston is rude.
What do we got for this?
Hell, funniest Disney characters in general. But
Ooh!
charisma and humor that comes from his general
Pretty.
ability, he kind of
I like the blend.
and unexpectedly
Where is it?
right under
This one. Ooh, that looks good. Hate you.
and there are a lot of great bits with him during the first half. Like,
Ugh. Let's try something cheap from the mechanic.
the opening song very naturally. And oh my god, the song named after him is such a supreme banger. Too many good bits in this one to count. The 4 dozen eggs, the smacking the chess set away, the march. He serves as just really strong comedic relief that's mostly disconnected from the main plotline until he starts to intersect with
That's a cube.
the end.
This one's a 6L though. I like that one.